this journey just as you all have been with us in this fight, and they're going to share a little bit about what their part was and about what God's doing in a ministry that God is working in their heart. Brother Gary has a message. We're going to turn it over to Sister Sarah. She's going to take and she's going to share some stuff with you. These guys have been tremendous rocks for us. They have been part of our four crazy friends. They look just about as crazy as we do, don't they? They believe God. She stands here healed because she believed God.
19 years ago this November, the 26th, I went in for an emergency exploratory surgery. I had gone to the doctor the week before, and he told me he thought I had an acute case of irritable bowel. I was set up for a lot of tests to start on the Monday after Thanksgiving. I never made it to those tests. I had emergency surgery on Sunday morning because I had swollen so bad from the blockages, nothing was processing through my body. And on Saturday evening, I mean, it's a long story to tell in the short. Let me back up and just say this. I was scheduled to be in Honduras on a missions trip. And 2 weeks before we were to leave, my husband walked in and just said the Lord had spoke to him and said that he and I weren't to go, the team could go. And have you ever just been mad at the way that God turns your timetable around and you're like frustrated with it? Well, that's the way I was that day when he came in. I asked him why. He said, well, God didn't give me a why. He just said you can't go. I found out later that had I made that trip to Honduras, my stomach would have burst on the plane and I would have died making that AIM trip with the students of Louisiana. On that Saturday, I had called the physician that I had gone in to see to get some help because I was hurting so badly. I was home alone. And he was on vacation because of Thanksgiving. So they gave me the doctor on call, and he told me that I should make my way to the drugstore, get all the purging materials, and come back home and get rid of the blockage. And I finally made my way to the drugstore in much pain, got back home, and did my best to take care of, being the obedient to the doctor. And I did not hear the audible voice of God, but in my own bedroom, I'd heard the Lord say to me, do not do this or you will die. Again, following my surgery, when I was asking the surgeon about it, Dr. Remedios, he said, Dee, if you had administered the purging, he said you would have died in your own bathroom because your stomach would have ruptured. There was too much already in there, and it would have impacted it so that you would have ruptured it and you would have died. Well, there's two times that you look at the timing of God, even when you don't understand it, and yet you can see his provision for you is already in place. So on that Saturday evening, as the AIM team got in, I had asked the Lord to bring our 16-year-old daughter home because I wanted to see her, actually to say goodbye. I knew that I was in trouble. You can't have that kind of pain and that kind of swelling and not know that something seriously is going on. I asked my husband when he got in to please get me some help. I never dreamed that that help would come in the form of Dave Remedios. There's the third miracle. There was a lawsuit in place. I wasn't to have any voice with Dr. Remedios. If any of you are sitting here this morning and you've got a legal issue going down, God can step right in the middle of a legal issue and turn it around. It's the miraculous too. And he did that as Gary called Dave. The service told him that he was out of the country, that he would have to talk to someone else. And my husband is much more persistent in his faith than I. I would have just thought, okay, I missed it. I didn't hear the voice of God. Not him. He turns around and picks up the phone and calls him at home and said, God didn't tell me that for him to be out of the country. He's got to be where I can reach him if he's supposed to be your doctor. And then I looked at him and I said, Gary, Dr. Remedios can't take me as a patient because of the lawsuit, which was a real estate lawsuit. It wasn't his doings or my doings, but we were named in the entities of the company. Anyway, when he told me, he said, God said, call him. I'm calling him. I'm not named in the lawsuit. And when Dave answered the phone and he said he would take me as his case, something inside of me knew that God had supernaturally superseded the laws of man and already set in motion a determination of what would be the outcome. I had no idea of my need at that point. I just knew that God was already working on my behalf. And I sometimes think we forget that He is working on our behalf every day, in every situation. It doesn't have to be a cancer crisis, but the everyday needs. He's interceding at the right hand of the Father for whatever our need is. Well, that gave me a rest. I thought, Lord, you've got my back. I don't know what's going on. Got to the hospital. They took me to delivery. That's how big I was. I was so swollen. They brought me back down from delivery, gave me a thorough examination, gave me pain medication, that I would not know anything till Sunday night after my surgery. But Sunday morning there was a prayer prayed. Pastor alluded to it about the work of the angels in your behalf. God graced me with that. Dr. Remedios and Gary prayed that Sunday morning, asking the angels to guard my life and to give him direction from the Holy Spirit to know what to do. The Holy Spirit showed up, and so did the angels. I went into that surgery not knowing I was even there, but I did have an encounter with angels. And they told me that I could be at peace, for all was well. Didn't tell me I was healed. There's a difference. Didn't tell me everything was going to be okay. It just said, be at peace. All is well. When I came to, I didn't know mentally, I didn't know exactly what was going on, because there was family members there that I knew didn't live in Alexandria. And so I was confused. And I really began to wonder, when the Lord gave me the choice of going to heaven or staying on earth, if I had made the choice to go to heaven, because I began to look around and, okay, these people weren't supposed to be in my setting on earth. So maybe I have already transcended to heaven and I'm looking down upon family members. But I began to clarify with that, and with the medication leaving out of my body, and where others began to think that I was still on my morphine drip and I didn't know what I was talking about. When I would try to tell them about my angels, they really just kind of thought I was hallucinating. I wasn't. It was a very real encounter with angels when they told me that I could be at peace. I did not know that Dr. Remedios had an encounter with angels as well. When they gave him instruction, the Holy Spirit did, as to what to do with the problem that he found, because they thought my stomach was blocked. It wasn't my stomach, it was my colon. I had 3rd stage colon cancer, gangrene had set up, it had already gone into my lymph nodes. They gave me 3 months to live, November the 26th, 1995. I'm sorry, 4 months to live. And here I am, will be 19 years this November the 26th. God has been faithful. There's been battles. I've had other issues. You know, in 97, I got a hemorrhaging. I went through that whole battle, had to have another surgery, which was a kidney stone surgery. But the devil came along anyway to tell you, oh, well, you know, here you are, you're going to fight cancer all over again. But the Lord that was my healer of all things. And what was amazing about my story, it's like Paul Harvey, those of you that remember the commentator from TV and radio all those years. There's a page 2 to my story. Page 2 is that in November of 96, after going through a year of chemo, I went through 52 treatments. And there's another whole story with that one we won't get into, how the Lord directed me to that. But when they got through with all my tests, they came out and told us that I didn't have any polyps, I didn't have any lesions, there was no indicators of cancer in my body. But the amazing part was they had removed half of my colon in surgery. I was supposed to have had a colostomy and an ileostomy bags the rest of my life, which the doctor did not do because the Holy Spirit instructed him not to do that. But when they got through with all the tests, they came out and said, you've got 6 feet of colon, you're only supposed to have 3. And it's been determined that I have a creative miracle. I stand before you today with no bags, no ileostomy, no colostomy, a full colon, still 6 feet, still operating. It's been proven by 3 doctors here in the Monroe area since I moved up here. They didn't know anything about my story. But when I asked them about the length and the condition of my colon, they said, well, you've got 6 feet. We can see staples, but everything is working fine. For those of you that you think, okay, Lord, I need one more time, the miraculous. All I can say to you this morning is that he's trustworthy. Yeah. Gary says that I declared, I don't remember this, it's amazing. When the doctors came in on the 3rd day and told me that I had colon cancer, and had 4 months to live. He said that my response was to them, live or die, I will trust. And I think all along in this journey, we've got to get back to the simple element of, has he been faithful? Has he proven himself to you already? Have you learned to be trustworthy with whatever you're facing? He's trustworthy. Declare your trust. Keep on walking. Keep on praising. Deny the devil the rights to your mind. Remind him that he has no place there. And keep on keeping on, sharing what he's already done for you so that you can make way for what he's got coming to you.